So there's that fun, exciting car that you've always wanted, and you've convinced yourself that now is the right time to go for it. But there's one very important person left to convince. In this video, I'm going to tell you the 3 compelling ways to make your case. If you use all 3, I guarantee your other half won't be able to say no. My name's Ben, and welcome to Dadcars. Right, now step 1 is use an analogy. I'm guessing your other half isn't a car enthusiast. Therefore, they probably don't understand why you want to buy something that costs a lot more to buy and a hell of a lot more to run, when cars are just something that get you from A to B. Take my Aston Martin DB9 for example. Last year I did around 4,000 miles at the cost of £2,000. Sure, I could swap it for a Volkswagen Passat which does 45 miles per gallon, and that would cost about £750, saving £1,250 a year in fuel alone. And if you believe that cars simply get you from A to B, you're not going to understand why you'd want to spend that extra money. My wife is not a car enthusiast, but she really values the family holiday that we do every year. If a car simply is something that get you from A to B and there's nothing else special about it, is a holiday simply a week away with the family, regardless of where you are. That holiday abroad that you've got planned, it's going to cost £3,000. Should you save a couple of grand and drive down the road and stay at a caravan park instead? Or that romantic birthday evening meal that you've got planned at that lovely little Italian place that you both adore. Should you just save the money and go to McDonald's instead if all it's about is having an evening together? Look, what I'm trying to say is that there are things in life that if you're passionate about them, it makes things more exciting if you can afford to do so. So use an analogy and to try and explain why, to you, cars are not simply something that get you from A to B. Now, all of that said, I must stress, I am not in support of financially stretching yourself to buy an exciting car, particularly if you've got a young family. It should make your life more fun and enjoyable, not more stressful. I mean, take this for example, my actual dream Aston Martin is an Aston Martin DBS, but they are double the price of a DB9. And sure, I could have got the second half of that money as a loan or on finance, but the running cost of this, plus a monthly payment for a finance company, I mean, it would have made the whole thing really stressful, and that's not what it's all about. But you don't even need to spend this much money to have an exciting dad car. I mean, I've shown on the Dadcars channel already that there's lots of stuff you can get for 15 or even sub £10,000. Now, step 3 is the most important one. But first, step 2, provide evidence. So before I bought this car, I remember my wife said to me, she said, Ben, I've been searching online, I've searched Google, YouTube and even Mumsnet, and there's no information out there that you can actually fit any child seat in the back of a DB9. So when I bought this car and turned up at home with it, I didn't actually know if I'd bought a chocolate teapot or not. Fortunately, after a few failed attempts, I managed to get some child seats that fit in the back really well. And that is the first YouTube video I made on the Dadcars channel. It was about the DB9 and showing that you can actually fit child seats in the back of these cars. So that's a big mission of mine with Dadcars, this channel on YouTube. Every week I feature a different exciting dad car and check its usability. Can you actually get child seats in the back? What's the boot like? Could it be used as a family car, as a dad car? So, for example, if you really want to buy yourself a GR Yaris, but your wife's saying there's no way you can get that, it's tiny, you won't be able to use that with children, well, you can watch the video I did on the incredible GR Yaris, showing actually just how usable the rear seats are and how cool that car is. On the Dadcars channel already, I have featured so many exciting dad cars that people would assume you cannot use with children. And they're all on my channel right now, so if any of these cars are the cars that you want to buy, you can show these videos to your wife and say, look, it is definitely doable. Show the evidence. So the third and final, most important thing, plan on using the car and making memories. Look, if this car purchase for you is simply as like an investment, something that you're going to tuck away in the garage and not drive for 10 months of the year and be scared to put miles on and certainly never let your children in with their sticky fingers, then I'm sorry, this video is not for that purchase. You're on your own, buddy. I'm filming this on a rather miserable winter's Saturday morning, and we've just been to gymnastics, haven't we? You did really well, by the way. I use this car all the time. If I'm going to a car meet at the weekend, I always take at least one of my children with me. Going out for ice cream, going to the fun fair, and even doing just seemingly routine things like taking my children to gymnastics. I do it in the Aston Martin because look, if you're a car enthusiast like me, you'll understand this. Just makes even routine things like dropping them off at their clubs and stuff, just makes them a little bit more memorable. And it just makes me smile that we're doing it in Aston Martin. I like the idea that one day, you know, when you grow up, you might look back and say, Daddy, remember when you had that DB9 and you used to take me to gymnastics? I mean, that just makes me smile. So yeah, look, like I say, if you're planning to be really precious and buy an investment and never drive it, because you don't want to put any miles on and make it depreciate, and I'm sorry, I side with your other half. That's not what I'm in support of. Because if your children's memories of your car is that special thing that no one was ever allowed to go anywhere near, and you certainly never took them out in it, that's not going to create memories which make them become car enthusiasts. We need the next generation to be passionate about internal combustion engines, don't we? I feel really strongly about that. I don't understand what people are so afraid of using their cars with their children. Oh, what? They're going to get crumbs on the floor. They're going to get sticky handprints on the leather. You can just clean it. You can just hoover it. It's not the end of the world. It really isn't. And for the sake of a few dropped sweets, I think the memories that your children will have with their dad and an exciting car more than make up for it. If anybody said to my wife, why do you let Ben have that ridiculous car? That must cost so much money to run. She'd be the first to say, no, look, I'm in support of it because he uses it all the time with the children. You know, and we've got 4 children, haven't we? So, you know, taking a couple away for a few hours or for the day, you know, she's in support of it. And I think your other half will as well, if you're going to use the car, truly use it to make memories. And hey, look, I'm not the only one. I get emails and messages on Instagram all the time from dads out there who are using their exciting cars with their children and making memories. I set up a Facebook Dadcars group where people are starting to share pictures of incredible cars with child seats in and sharing stories about how they're using them. And this year, I'm going to run a couple of dad car meets. Cars, coffee and kids. Things like a bouncy castle and activities for the children, because let's be honest, car meets aren't the most enjoyable thing for children, and we want them to look forward to spending time with their dad and these cool cars. Right, we can't finish this video on such a miserable day, so let's go back to when it was nice and sunny. So in summary, if you think now is the time to buy that exciting car, use an analogy to explain your irrational want. Show evidence, show the Dadcars videos of these cars. Look, they can be used with children. And most importantly, number 3, make sure you're buying it for the right reason. Use it with your family, make memories. Because then it's all worth it, isn't it? Look, thank you so much for watching. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe. I do a new video every week featuring a different exciting dad car. And look, I hope to see you on the next one. Bye bye guys. Bye. Whoa!
Naughty wind.
That cable costs like £40, I think, as well. Hey sweetie, your hand's clean. Show me. Yeah, close enough. Right, come on then, in we go. One of the hazards of using the Aston as a mobile staff room for your children to be in whilst you're filming is, look, one of the little darlings has stuffed a sweet into the cigarette lighter. There it is. It was a wine gum.